let's dive into 1stDibs today.
Ooh, 1stDibs.
Yeah, you know that online marketplace where you can, like, find incredible pieces?
It's a fun place to browse?
Yeah, a mid-century modern masterpiece or, like, a piece of antique jewelry with a
Absolutely.
really cool story.
Yeah, if you're into, like, history and design and things like that.
Yeah, it's a great place to browse.
It's really fun.
But this isn't just about browsing for fun.
Right.
By the end of this deep dive, we're gonna equip you with the knowledge to shop strategically, but also to sell. To sell on this very exclusive platform.
Yeah. What makes it so exclusive?
Well, I think that what makes it so exclusive is that it really caters to a specific kind of seller.
Okay.
And a specific kind of buyer.
Got it.
It's not your average online marketplace.
Yeah, and I've heard that getting your shop approved is harder than getting into an Ivy League school.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. What's the deal with that application process?
It's intense.
Really?
They are really looking for people who are established businesses with a proven track record.
Interesting.
They don't want someone who just cleaned out their attic.
Okay.
You really need to know what you're talking about. Okay. You need to demonstrate expertise in your niche. Like if you are selling, I don't know, Art Deco furniture, you need to know the ins and outs of Art Deco.
The designers, the periods, the makers.
You got it.
Wow, so like...
the materials.
You really have to know your stuff.
And then there's the inventory. That has to be top-notch.
So it's not just about...
museum quality.
Yeah, drool-worthy.
Okay, so you can't just be an expert.
Yeah.
You also have to have the right...
you have to have the goods to back it up.
The goods. All right.
And 1stDibs actually has a team that reviews every single application.
Wow.
Yeah, making sure that everyone who is selling aligns with their brand. So they're very protective of their brand.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's say you made it.
Okay.
You made it through the selection process.
You got in, you're in the club.
You're in. All right, what are some of the things that sellers are doing to, like, really stand out?
Right.
And more importantly, make sales.
Okay, so competition has got to be fierce.
Yeah, because everyone who's there has good stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you stand out?
That's where the hustle comes in.
Okay.
The sellers who are killing it on 1stDibs, they aren't just listing items.
Okay.
They're creating a whole experience.
Okay.
They're thinking about it like a curated boutique.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's like your shop is like a boutique.
Yeah, they have a distinct brand identity. They understand the psychology of the luxury buyer.
Right.
Who is this person that's coming to my shop?
Yeah, speaking of psychology, how much does the story behind a piece really matter to buyers?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I mean, is it just marketing fluff?
No, it's more than just fluff.
Or do people actually pay more for something that has a
provenance?
A provenance. And what is provenance?
Provenance is essentially the history or the origin of a piece.
Okay.
And it can significantly impact its value.
So, like...
yeah, think of it.
If something belonged to, like, a famous movie star.
That's what I was going to say.
Or was in a cool hotel or something.
Yeah, 1stDibs buyers are looking for more than just an object.
Yeah.
They're seeking a piece of history, a story to tell.
So they want to be able to tell their friends, oh, yeah, this belonged to so-and-so.
They want to say, this painting hung in a grand European estate.
Right.
And those details add a layer of intrigue and exclusivity that people are willing to pay a premium for.
So if you have a vintage lamp with a great backstory, don't bury it in the description.
No. Shout it from the rooftops. Tell everyone.
Front and center.
Yeah. And savvy sellers are weaving those stories into their listings. They're using them to create a more immersive experience for the buyer.
Cool. All right, let's talk about pricing.
All right.
We all know that 1stDibs is all about luxury.
Yeah.
Things aren't going to be cheap.
Yeah, you're not going to find a bargain basement item on 1stDibs.
No, but how do sellers actually determine what to charge?
Right, because how do you know what a 19th century armoire should cost?
Right.
You're not going to find a price tag on that at your local antique shop.
You're not going to find it on Amazon. So how do they do it?
That's where research and market knowledge come in.
Okay.
So successful 1stDibs sellers are constantly monitoring sold listings.
So they're looking at what's
sold both on the platform itself and through auction records.
Okay.
They're keeping tabs on what similar pieces are fetching.
Got it.
And they're adjusting their prices accordingly.
Interesting.
And it's not just about matching the market.
Right.
They're also factoring in things like condition, rarity, and, of course, that all-important provenance.
Yeah.
A pristine, one-of-a-kind piece with fascinating history is going to command a much higher price than something that's more common or that's showing signs of wear and tear.
Okay, so there's more to it than
that's not
just coming up with a price.
Putting it up there and crossing your fingers.
There's
real strategy involved.
That's strategy, okay.
And one of the strategies that I think is so interesting is the make an offer feature.
Make an offer.
Yeah, I love that.
They're inviting buyers to engage in a little bit of negotiation, which can actually create a sense of excitement.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
I imagine that those negotiations can get pretty...
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Especially when you're dealing with these high-ticket items.
Yeah, because this is a marketplace where make an offer on a rug could mean dropping a couple of $1,000s.
Right.
So how do these sellers find that balance?
It's a delicate dance between getting top dollar and not scaring away potential buyers.
You have to be informed and you have to be flexible.
Okay.
But also know your bottom line.
Right, you can't go too low.
Yeah, and savvy sellers are prepared to justify their pricing by pointing to comparable sales data, highlighting the unique aspects of the piece, and sharing their expertise on its history and significance.
So they really are.
Yeah, they're not just selling a product.
Experts.
They're selling their knowledge and their passion.
Cool. All right, so we've covered getting your shop approved. We've talked about crafting those killer listings.
Yeah.
And mastering the art of pricing.
We did it.
But now, someone buys that item.
Right.
You have to get it to them.
You got to ship it. And I imagine...
And shipping can be a logistical nightmare.
Especially when you're talking about antiques, large furniture.
Fragile items.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do they do it?
Shipping is one of the biggest challenges that 1stDibs sellers face.
Really?
And it's an area where people who excel are really setting themselves apart.
Okay, so what's the secret?
Okay.
Are they all packing up their station wagons and driving these across the country?
Well, some sellers might handle local deliveries themselves.
Okay.
But for most, it's all about finding the right shipping partner.
So they're basically outsourcing it.
Yeah, you got it.
But what are they looking for in a shipping partner?
They are looking for white glove service.
White glove.
Meets logistical wizardry.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're partnering with companies that specialize in handling high-value, often delicate items.
So not just your average UPS guy.
We're talking professional packing, climate-controlled transport, even the option for things like custom crating and insurance.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you're buying a $10,000 chandelier.
Yeah.
You don't want it arriving in a million pieces.
Exactly. But I imagine all of this doesn't come cheap.
No.
So who pays for this?
That is a great question.
Buyer or seller?
And it's one that 1stDibs sellers have to carefully consider.
Oh, no.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
So what are some of the...
Some sellers build shipping costs into their pricing.
Okay.
Others offer various shipping options at checkout.
Okay.
And then the buyer can choose their preferred level of service and speed.
I see.
Yeah.
So there's a real strategic element to shipping too.
Absolutely. It's all part of that hustle mentality.
It's not an afterthought.
It's part of the customer experience.
Right.
They are thinking about every single step of the customer journey.
From the moment someone clicks on their listing to the moment that piece arrives on their doorstep.
You got it.
Safely.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we've talked about how to get that special item to the buyer.
Right.
But what are some of the unexpected challenges that could pop up?
Ooh.
I mean, we're talking about vintage furniture, maybe a sculpture.
Right.
A tapestry.
Yeah. Like those aren't things that you can just throw in a cardboard box.
You can't just slap a shipping label on it.
Exactly.
So what do you do?
Well, you're hitting on a really crucial point.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding a box that fits. It's about understanding the unique needs of each piece.
Okay.
And sometimes that can be really complicated.
I bet.
Like, for example, that Murano glass sculpture you were talking about might need specialized crating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to protect its delicate curves.
That makes sense.
And that tapestry you mentioned could require climate-controlled transport.
To keep it.
Yeah, to prevent damage from humidity or temperature fluctuation.
So it doesn't get warped or discolored or whatever.
Right, and then you have to think about insurance.
Insurance.
It's a whole other level of complexity.
Because we're talking about some high dollar.
When you're dealing with items worth tens of thousands of dollars,
you
have to make sure it's protected.
Yeah.
And the top 1stDibs sellers, they really shine in this area.
They don't skimp on insurance.
They're not just getting basic coverage.
Yeah.
They're working with specialized insurance brokers who understand how to ensure valuable antiques and art.
So they're like risk management experts almost, on top of everything else.
They have to be.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is, but that's the reality of running a successful business on 1stDibs.
Yeah.
It's not just about having an eye for beautiful things.
Right.
You have to understand the complexities of the market.
Okay.
Provide exceptional customer service.
Yeah.
Master the ins and outs of shipping and insurance.
It sounds intense.
It is.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about sourcing.
Sourcing, fun.
Yeah. Where do these sellers find all these incredible pieces?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know the secret.
Are they just like going to a flea market and stumbling upon?
Well, you might be surprised.
Okay.
Flea markets can occasionally yield hidden gems.
Okay.
But for the most part, these sellers have developed a network of sources over years, even decades.
So they have connections.
They have connections. We're talking about building relationships with estate sale companies.
Estate sales.
Attending high-end auctions.
Yeah.
Connecting with private dealers who specialize in specific niches.
Okay, so they're like treasure hunters, but instead of a metal detector,
they've got a Rolodex.
They have a Rolodex.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And it's not just about knowing where to look.
Yeah.
It's about developing an eye for quality.
Okay.
Being able to spot undervalued pieces.
That's tough.
It is.
And know what something's worth when.
Right, but you also have to understand the historical context that gives an item value.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but not everybody can like jet off to Paris for an auction.
Right.
Or spend all their time at estate sales.
Not all of us have those resources.
So are there any tips for people who are just starting out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The best way to start is by focusing on a niche. Something that you're passionate about.
Something that you like.
Something you really love.
Okay.
So maybe it's mid-century modern furniture, Art Deco lighting, vintage textiles.
Okay.
You become an expert in that area.
So you're the go-to person for vintage Danish ceramics.
Vintage Danish ceramics person.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And don't underestimate the power of online research.
Oh, okay.
There are tons of resources online.
Like what?
Auction databases,
right?
Specialized forums where you can learn about different styles and makers and historical periods.
Where you can learn a lot online.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get creative.
Okay.
Attend local antique shows.
Yeah.
Connect with collectors on social media.
Ooh.
Check out online marketplaces like eBay or Etsy.
Okay.
You never know where you're going to find your next treasure.
That's good advice.
Thanks.
Okay, so you've found this amazing piece.
Yes.
You've researched it.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready to list it on 1stDibs.
Yeah.
But now you're looking at that blank page.
The listing description.
And you have to write a description.
Yeah, that can be daunting.
It can. So we talked about storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you even begin?
It takes practice.
I bet.
But one thing that I always recommend is to think about your ideal buyer.
Yeah.
Who are they? What are their interests?
Yeah.
What kind of language would resonate with them?
Yeah, so if you're selling like a mid-century modern bar set,
yeah,
you're not going to use the same language as if you were selling like a grandfather clock or something.
You want to tailor your language to your audience.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to inject some personality into your descriptions.
So
share your passion for the piece, highlight its unique features, tell the story.
Make it sound interesting.
Yeah, bring it to life.
Okay.
Make them feel like they're not just buying an object, but they're acquiring a piece of history.
That's good.
Or a conversation starter for their next dinner party.
Okay, let's talk about pricing again.
Okay, pricing.
Because it's a luxury marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Things aren't going to be cheap on 1stDibs.
Right, so how do you know what to charge?
How do sellers decide?
Well, research and market knowledge are key.
Okay.
Successful 1stDibs sellers are always looking at sold listings.
So they're looking
it's on the platform and auction records.
To see that.
Keeping tabs on what similar pieces are fetching.
What similar things have sold for.
Exactly.
Got it.
And they're not just matching the market. They're also factoring in things like condition, rarity, and of course, provenance.
Provenance.
A pristine, one-of-a-kind piece with fascinating history.
Yeah.
That's going to command a much higher price than something that's more common, maybe has some wear and tear.
So it's not as simple as just slapping a price on there.
Right. There's real strategy involved.
Okay. You mentioned the make an offer feature.
Oh, yeah.
What about that?
I love that feature.
Me too.
It's not just setting a firm price and waiting. Right. It's inviting buyers to engage in a little negotiation.
And that makes it more fun, I think.
It does, and it can create some excitement.
Yeah, and this is a marketplace where make an offer could mean offering thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
So how do sellers strike that balance?
That is the question.
Of getting top dollar and not scaring people away.
It's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
You have to be informed, flexible, and know your bottom line.
Know your limit.
Exactly. And savvy sellers are ready to justify their pricing.
Okay.
They point to comparable sales data.
Right.
They highlight the unique aspects of a piece.
Yeah.
And they share their expertise about the history and significance.
So they're not just selling a product.
They're selling their knowledge and their passion.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed.
Really?
This seems like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle.
You need business savvy. You need design knowledge.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of psychology.
A little therapy.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
So it is intense.
It is, but that's also what makes it so exciting.
Okay.
It's not your typical online selling experience.
Right.
It's about curating a collection.
Yeah.
Connecting with passionate buyers, building a brand.
So it's like a lifestyle.
It's a way of life.
Almost.
Yeah.
More than just a side hustle.
For many 1stDibs sellers, it absolutely is.
They're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So that probably comes through when they're interacting with...
Yeah, I think buyers can sense that.
Okay.
And that's what sets 1stDibs apart from other online marketplaces.
Right.
It's a community of people who appreciate
okay.
quality and craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And the stories behind the objects.
This has been a really cool glimpse into the world of 1stDibs.
It has.
We've covered a lot.
Yeah, we really have.
But I know we've only scratched the surface.
There's always more to learn.
Always more. All right, we'll be back in a flash.
Okay.
With more 1stDibs and the art of the hustle. We're back, wrapping up our deep dive into 1stDibs. You know that online marketplace for all things like rare and beautiful?
We've uncovered some serious gems in this deep dive so far.
We have. We've talked about the vetting process for sellers.
Yeah.
All the way to like how to write a really compelling listing.
It's a journey.
Yeah. And we've also talked about pricing and shipping and all that stuff.
Which can be a little tricky.
Which can be really tricky.
Yeah.
So I want to dig a little deeper into this whole hustle mentality.
Okay.
What are some of the less obvious things that set apart? Those sellers that are just killing it.
Right. What's the secret sauce?
Yeah, what is the secret sauce?
One thing that I think often gets overlooked is visual storytelling.
Okay.
We've talked about professional photos.
Right.
But the real pros are taking it a step further.
How so?
They're using their photos to create a mood, an aspirational lifestyle.
So it's not just a picture of a chair.
It's not just a chair against a white backdrop.
It's styled.
It's styled in a beautiful room with maybe some art books and a cool view out the window.
So you're trying to create a whole vibe?
Yes. Draw the buyer in.
Yeah.
Make them envision it in their own home.
Okay. And is it limited to just photos?
No, some sellers are even using video.
Video, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's like a virtual tour.
Exactly.
That's really neat. And you mentioned connecting with buyers. What are some of the ways that sellers are going above and beyond?
Okay, so we talked about prompt responses and going the extra mile.
Yeah.
But they're also really smart about using the tools that 1stDibs offers.
What kind of tools?
Things like the follow button.
Oh, okay.
The favorites list.
Yeah. I've always wondered how much attention sellers pay to that.
Savvy sellers pay very close attention.
Really?
They see a follow as an opportunity to start a conversation.
Okay.
To welcome new followers to their brand.
Okay.
And you know those favorites lists?
Yeah.
That's like gold.
Really?
It's a curated wish list of potential buyers who are interested in specific pieces.
So let's say I'm selling a rug.
Okay.
And someone adds it to their favorites.
You could reach out to them.
I could reach out to them and be like, hey, I saw you like this.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Is there anything?
Can I send you more photos?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the kind of thing that can get you a sale.
That's really smart.
It's proactive.
Okay. But let's be real.
Okay.
Sometimes things just don't sell.
It happens.
Yeah. So what do those sellers do?
Right. Do they just slash prices and hope for the best?
Yeah. Is that what they do?
Sometimes a price adjustment is necessary.
Okay.
But most of the time, the successful sellers are looking beyond the price tag.
Okay.
They're trying to analyze why a piece isn't moving.
Okay.
And then they get creative.
So give me an example.
Let's say you have a beautiful Art Deco cabinet.
Okay.
It's been sitting in your shop for a while. Instead of just lowering the price, you could write a blog post.
On your website or something.
Yeah, on your website about Art Deco design.
Okay.
And feature the cabinet
So you're trying to, like, create buzz around the piece.
Get it in front of the right audience.
Oh, okay.
You could also partner with an interior designer who specializes in that style.
Oh, smart.
Offer a discount to their clients.
Okay, that's really smart.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Try promoting it on social media.
Okay.
Run an ad campaign. Reach out to design publications.
To see if they'll feature it.
Exactly.
So they're really treating each piece
like it's its own little marketing campaign.
Yeah, like its own special little snowflake.
Exactly. And that's what sets them apart.
Okay.
They're not waiting for 1stDibs to do everything.
They're taking control.
Yes, they're taking ownership of their success.
This has been so eye-opening.
I'm glad.
I thought 1stDibs was just for, like, looking at pretty things.
Right.
But it's so much more than that.
It really is. It's a community of passionate collectors and sellers. Yeah. And it's a platform that's always changing.
And for those who are willing to put in the work,
mm-hmm.
there's a real opportunity there.
There is.
To turn their passion into a business.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive.
It has.
Into the world of 1stDibs.
I feel like we just scratched the surface.
We did. We just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But whether you're an avid 1stDibs shopper
mm-hmm.
or you're thinking about selling,
yeah,
I hope this gave you a little peek behind the curtain.
Me too.
And remember, behind every beautiful object,
there was a story.
There's a story.
Waiting to be told.
All right. That's it for this deep dive.
Happy hunting, everyone.